Hello, my name is Harvey and welcome to Prickly Pear Woodworking. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the different hand tools that I have and how I came about them, what my plans are, and I hope you enjoy this video. As you can see here, I have a pretty decent start. In the last video, I talked about I mentioned a little bit that I had a good amount of tools and hand tools that I collected, and that I was over here on the left hand side, left of me anyway. We're going to be building a set of cabinets and for different tools, and then on top I was going to be building a hand till or a hand plane till, and that's for all these tools here, with the exception of this clamp here. Now, I don't have everything that I want to get, I eventually want to have, but when I build the tool till, I plan to build for all the tools that I envision having. As you can see here, most of the tools that I have here are Lie-Nielsons. I've been fortunate enough to get my hands on quite a few of them. And I still have quite a few that I want to get. Lie-Nielson is a really, makes a really nice tool that I really enjoy working with. But they don't make all the different types of tools. Veritas makes some that Lie-Nielson doesn't. And one tool that neither of them make is compass planes. So there are two different types of compass planes that I'm aware of. It's 20 and 113 that Stanley made. There's only one company that makes them. It's Kuntz. But if I'm going to go, I think probably, and the only one that they make the 113 style. They don't make the 20. So those will be some, I'll probably try to find some good used ones and refurbish them and bring them back to near mint condition if I can. But today let me just start off with what I have here. I have in the bench planes, I have a number 8, a 5, and then I have a 2 and a 1. And then in the low angle, I have a 7.5. Now that's what I have in the bench planes. I do have, I believe, a 140, and then I have this 48, a router plane, and then I have a scraper plane. Now, oddly enough, the one that I got first was this one. Why I got it first, I don't know, because this only has one function, and this is the 48. There is a 49. The 48 is for wood that's 3/4 of an inch. The 49 is for the 1/2 inch material, but this is actually the tongue and groove plane, and I guess I got this because I thought, well, that was kind of a neat one, and I just wanted to give it a shot and see what it was. But it's got this this fence that spins around and then clicks back in place, and when you turn it one way, like it is right now, it'll cut the groove, and then when you basically pull the lever and you swing this around, you can cut the tongue. And like I said, it has one purpose. I don't have any, I've used this one before when I got it to do just to test on a board. I'm not going to use this to do tongue and groove flooring or anything like that, but I figured this would come in handy for doing, I want to do back of cabinets, and I want to do a tongue and groove for the back panel instead of using plywood. That's what I would use this one for. Now, the second plane that I got was this cabinet scraper, and again, it wasn't a bench plane, which is kind of your workhorses, But this one here, you know, instead of having a regular frog on it like this, resembles the 10 1/4, which is a bench plane, but it's a rabbet bench plane. It's about this big, but it has the same little hole, but it has the regular frog instead of this scraper. I'll call it scraper frog. But anyway, I got this one because it just came. They hadn't, best of my knowledge, Lie-Nielson hadn't produced one in a while, and it became available. So I picked up on it pretty as soon as it came available. The next one that I got was the number 5. Real nice plane. I've used this one a little bit, and it works very well. Right out of the box, I haven't even sharpened any. I haven't sharpened any of these yet. But the next one that I got was the number 8. Again, it came available. And then I think the next one that I got was this 140. And I figured, I had two of the main planes that I would need for do any major type of wood planing, surfacing, joining, that type of thing. I could get the job done with this, but I knew I needed the block plane as well. But I wanted I wanted something just in case I didn't, I wasn't able to buy any more planes. I got this one because this one kind of it feels like 3 different planes in one. It's like a regular block plane, and then it also acts as an edging plane. I believe it's a 95 that you can actually, with this guide on here, you can actually square, and 90 up, use it to help 90 up the edge of a board. And on top of that, this one also is a skew blade, and it does some other neat things. And I figured if I was going to be limited to one and not be able to pick up another one, this is one I want. But if you undo these 2 screws and you take the side off, now is exposed where it's like a cheek plane or a tenon plane. You can go right up to the edge, and the edge of a tenon or a rabbet or whatever, and it makes it really nice. And then when you don't need that, you just put this back on and tighten those back up, and then it's easy enough to, let me get that tightened up so I don't lose that. But you can actually take the fence off, slides right off, and you got a regular block plane. So it kind of fills 3 different little niches there. And I figured, and I'm really impressed with this one. I really like this little block plane. I think from there, the next one that I got was the number 2. And I got the number 2 with my grandkids in mind. And I figured, sometime they'll come out in the shop. I can actually hold this one, and actually work with this one pretty good. But this is the one, I got this one. I figured, if nothing else, I use it for if I do like model work and stuff like that. This one, also number 1, would work for that as well. But I figured, I'll go ahead and get them. But haven't used this one yet. And I thought this one was small, but I got the number 1s. When I got the number 1, which was yesterday actually, it came in. They did a special run on these. I hadn't seen them do these in a while. But if you look at that next to the number 2, that number 1 is like really small. And I guess I can get my hands on this. I got my big old hands, and I could probably, if I put my fingers up like I'm drinking tea or whatever, I can actually use it. And maybe, but if nothing else, one of my grandkids will be able to use that at some point in the future. And also I figured I would need to do some ingrain work. I've got some bird's eye maple over in the corner I plan to make some boxes out of, jewelry boxes and stuff like that. But I figured I'd need something for, doing that really ingrained grain, and some doing some cross grain work as well. But I figured, I don't foresee me getting a shooting board plane anytime soon. But I figured this one would also work very well for shooting board operations. So I got this one, and Lie-Nielson did, I think, one run on this year. I may be wrong, but I know I was looking at this for the last 6 months, and they said, hey, we're going to start doing a run, and we'll do one run in the end of the year. So I kept watching for that. I also have a router plane as well. Haven't used this one, but I was very impressed with it. I've used router planes in the past, and some old Stanleys to be more specific. But I really found that I really liked how the mechanism was on this. It's really, really nice, really smooth, and I'm kind of excited so I can get some projects where I can start using this as well. Also, got myself a dovetail saw. I figured of all the 3 saws that I could get, this would be the one I probably use the most, because I intend to start doing some dovetailing work. The tool that I plan on doing is going to be put together with a lot of dovetails, or at least that's my intent. Let's see, plane wise, I think I covered all the planes that are here. One of my kids got me this dowel maker jig plate. I still got to find some place to take him out that so I can actually use it. Got myself 3 of the standard type chisels. These Lie-Nielson chisels, I just want to take a little bit of time. I was really surprised with these. And I've had a lot of chisels in my life, but these are some of the nicest and well balanced, and they just feel really, really nice in the hands. And I just can't say enough for them. They're some of the nicest chisels I've ever worked with. Almost all the other chisels that I've gotten and I've used in the past, they're just heavy and they're just kind of clunky type of chisels, but these are really nice chisels. And again, these are a socket type of chisel, and if you ever where the handle's at, or split a handle, you can get them, and all you gotta do is just tap them, and they'll come in and out. The other type of chisel I got was I got a Morrison 10-inch chisel, and I've got the 3/8. I believe this is the 3/8. Yeah, that's the 3/8. I got the 3/8 because I figured this would be probably when I do like do any type of tenon work. This is probably about the size that I would use. Haven't used this one yet. Chisels, I actually took the 3/4 and did some right out of the box, and just did some test stuff with it, and it got really nice right out of the box. So kudos to Lie-Nielson about their sharpening when it leaves the plant. Speaking of sharpening, I knew I would need to do some sharpening to keep, especially the key to good woodworking and good joints is sharp tools. So I picked up a jig, or the guide, and this is a really nice guide. A little on the expensive side, but I mean, it seems to work really well. It's got the different types of blocks that you can unscrew and put on here. I ended up getting like 3 other sets, one for the Morrison chisel, and I got one for regular chisels. I believe this one, most of these blades will go on it. I got the skew for the 140 here. So the only thing is it was a little bit pricey. I mean, these different little blocks range about $45, and you know, I have two of them that I've only got one tool that they service. So, but also they have a little. One of the projects I plan on doing is building a board on this type of sharpening guide. You know, you get your angle by how far it sticks out the front there, and then it lays on the stone. And the paper in here, Lie-Nielson, was nice enough to include this with it, and I'm going to use it to make the little board. And I'll have a video about making the board and doing sharpening and stuff like that. But that's real nice too. On the sharpening side, I picked up some of these. I can't. I know I'll butcher it, but Oshi stones. Lie-Nielson, they're made by a company in Japan, but Lie-Nielson has them on their website. I picked up a 1,000, which is that stone, and a 10,000 grit stone, which is this one. Haven't used these yet. I want to get a little station built for them. I'll probably work on it on top of the big green cabinet. But real nice. This is the holder for them. I figure I just need one. I may end up buying another one of the holders just so that each one of these will have something that'll hold them. But real nice stones. I've never worked with these particular type of stones. I've worked with some Arkansas wet stones before, with my grandfather and my father, and we sharpened like knives and machetes and axes and stuff with them. But this one's a different color, but it's the 1,000. I thought about getting a 3,000, but these stones are not cheap, and I figured. I went back and forth, watched a lot of videos and different people, and there's different trains of thoughts on it. But I finally settled on, instead of having like a 3-step process, just a 1,000 stone to get it close, and then to finish it off with the 10,000 grit stone. And I know there's some diamond stones out there, some glass stones, but I've settled on this, and on this area I just kind of deferred back to, okay, Lie-Nielson, they trust them enough to put them on their site, so I'm going to go with them to start with, and then hopefully they work out and they're good, and if they are, I'll stick with them. Other things I picked up a couple of the screwdrivers from Lie-Nielson, just so I can do. They got different size screws on these. I think they have like 9 different screwdrivers for all their different planes and stuff. I need to get one for a chip breaker, but don't know if I'm going to go with the one from Lie-Nielson. They have handles. All the screwdrivers have handles like this, which is, I can get my hands on it like that, but sometimes these screws on the chip breakers are pretty tight. I've seen one that's it's a kind of round looks like like an old doorknob, but it's got the screw in, and I think I'm going to probably try to find one of those and for breaking the chip breaker screws loose. But other than that, I plan on getting the rest of those. Picked up. This was a gift from one of my son for Christmas. This is actually a Wood River marking gauge, but it's been modified by Ron Cosman. That way it won't roll off the table, and also did some touch-up work on it. But this is really nice. I was really impressed. I think I also want to get the center rod. This is Rob Cosman has one on his site that you can mark tenons with it, Morrison tenons and tenons with it. And I'd like to pick that one up as well. I think I'll just get the rod. I don't think I'll get a whole new one. because these rods come out. He's got a couple other tools I want to get my hands on too for doing dovetail work. But overall, this came in today. I got, they say you can't have enough clamps, and I tend to agree. For the last several years, I've had some of the F-type clamps, and for doing different things around my shop and around my place. But this is a Bora. I believe this is what they call the parallel clamp. But I got them in today, and I so far I'm pretty impressed with them. They seem to be very stout. I think I picked up, there was a 4-pack of them, 2 24s and 2 30s, and it was like $108. So that's not bad for a nice set of clamps. And this should be enough to get started on my first projects. And as time goes on, I will be picking up more of these type of clamps. Back in the day, it was the pipe clamps. That was pretty much what we dealt with, and we may have one of those wooden screw clamps. But I've never used one of these before, but they seem to be very stout, and I'm looking forward to working with those, and I'll let you know what I think. But I think they're going to work out well. And next week I'll get started on doing some of the base work. I'll probably have a couple videos. I'll probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to start building the cabinets first, and then the tool till comes second. But the cabinets are probably going to be at least 2 videos, and then I'll start working on the till, which will probably be about another 2 to 3 videos on the wood till, and then we can go from there. But I plan to have doing some shop projects. I've got this. I was looking at some videos, and behind me over here I've got the drill press. I need to clean it up a little bit, not too much, just a column rust a little bit, but get that cleaned up, and start building some storage case underneath that, and build like a nice little table, with a miter fence and everything, to make it a little bit more usable. And I'm probably going to start building some clamp holders and stuff to hang on the wall to hold my clamps and get them up where they're just not laying on benches or in drawers, taking up space. Those will be some of the first videos that I do. Once I get through with all those, I think I'll be doing some more shop projects. This old Delta saw that I have, unisaw. I need to make a cabinet go off the end of it off the right side of it, to kind of support material, plus give me some more storage. And then I'm going to be building an outfeed assembly table other than using this, and it's going to be some pretty good size. So I should have probably about 4 foot wide and about 7 foot long by the time I get done. But it'll have a bunch of storage, some storage for some wood, and also have some drawers and stuff where I can store like my sled and my miter gauge. And I also want to put my air compressor down there, and my reel that you may have seen over on the old workbench, the old air reel. I want to get that up inside there, maybe do some soundproofing, just to kind of keep that noise down, because I like to keep the noise down in the shop as much as possible, just so it's more enjoyable. Then we may start moving into some of the restoration of some of the bigger machines that I got. Probably the first project I'm going to do is I may go ahead and work on the Reliant joiner first, because there's not much I need to do to get it up where it's where I can use it until I change out. I get a helical head and change that out. I just need to do some restoration on the fence and a little bit on the bed to clean up some of the rust and get it nice and slick again, and make sure I oil it up. That'll probably be my first one. It'll kind of be a mini. And then we'll come back to that a little bit later on when I get the head, and then we'll just do the full tear down, change out belts, check bearings and all that stuff, and do a new paint job if we need to at that point. I think the helical head on that one is about $400 to $500. I know on the Delta 380 that I have back here over my left shoulder, that will probably be the next build, and that will be a full total tear down. I need to, as I mentioned before in the other video, I have the exhaust chute on that thing. It's cast. It's a cast iron, and it's got a lot of cracks in it. Again, I'll try to repair that, but if not, I'll build a new chute for that. But I want to tear it down and get everything down, check for all cracks, make sure there's no more cracks. I think that's the only thing that's got any cracks in the castings. And then we'll start building it back up, and we'll order a new head for that. And I've got, and then in projects other than those, I want to build. I need to build. I've been married 35 years. And I think it's about time I built the wife a really nice jewelry box. So that will be a wood. I'll probably like the one they do on Wood Whisperer. Like I said, I've got some bird's eye maple back here. It'd be beautiful for drawer fronts and side casings. And I'll probably go and purchase some black walnut to do the regular part of the case in. So I think that would be a nice combination on that. And then other projects that I have planned for the future is I've got some home organization. I've got my office, which is a 12 by 12. I need 2 desks, built-in desks with drawers, filing cabinets, and full desk, because I got multiple printers and stuff in there and computers, and I want to build out the other side of the office for my wife and her painting and everything, and along with shelving, floor to ceiling shelving in there, so we can maximize all our storage capacity. I do some organization in closets built, instead of the just single shelf at the top. I've got a lot of closets in this house, and I would like to maximize them as much as possible. One thing that will probably be after the office will be the first thing that I do will be have a little closet next to the kitchen that's basically the pantry, and you open it up and there's starting about 3 foot off the ground, there's a shelf, and then there's another shelf, and they're only a foot deep, and this thing is, so I kind of plan on building out the sides and then having full pull-out drawers on every level and just maximize the full storage of that as much as possible. And I think that will be an interesting project, which will probably take 3 to 4, probably about 3 videos on that one. But I plan to build out the sides so you can clear the drawers and have storage over there for cereal boxes and little can caddies where you put the cans in and they come down, and then build it out enough where you have one piece that goes on one side that's like that, and another one that way. You kind of have something you can put your drawer slides on, and then you can put full drawer slides all the way up. That way everything comes all the way out where you can get to it. Because my thing is anything above eye level or below the waist pretty much gets lost, because if you don't have to, you don't want to bend over, and usually if you can't see it right as you open the door, you're just not going to see it, and a lot of stuff gets lost and a lot of waste in the pantry. So I figured that was definitely a project that I wanted to do. So I think that's pretty much it. I do have the comments. I have started turning on comments this time. So, if you see something, or you think of something that you might want to see me build, as long as I can find a use for it and for me to use, I'd be more than willing to give it a try. Feel free to leave a post. Just like and subscribe, and until next time, just stay safe and see you then.